It'll be a it'll be a relatively short session. I don't want to take up everyone's time too much, but the point here, I don't think we did a very good job in sort of telling you about the session in advance. Um, but please turn on your camera if you can. Tunnel. I know you've had cameras before. Vanessa and Shayla, you're typically the best at this from the legal rescue team. Um, Lizzie, it would be great to see you as well with the camera on. Uh, I see Michael Moses only has a. Oh, now I see a person as well. Great, not just the beach. Vincent, Bernard, Adrian, don't be shy. Great to see you. It's good to get into the habit at the very least. Um, okay, so I'll give a few more seconds for you to turn on your cameras. Thank you, Shayla, Vanessa, Kevin, Adrian for turning on the cameras. Might as well get used to it in the beginning. So what I'll do is I need to grab that book, but I will read you all a section that I think is very important um, in terms of setting the stage here. So it's a section from a book. It's called Sell Like Crazy. Now, the point is not to talk about selling per se. It's rather to talk about what it takes to succeed. And I think this author has a great chapter where he talks about the hard work that this entails. So it'll be a story. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Um, I think that at some point we're going to create some nice slides to go with this. But for now, you just have to listen to me telling you this little story. I hope it will inspire you yourself to do better. Okay, so mhm. Okay, here. Okay, we're getting closer now. And I think I just also want to mention now as a more a point on logistics that we are going to have a few like a revamp in terms of how we structure everything. So we're going to have one big Clockify workspace that Moses will invite you to later today. And after that, we will all be able to see each other and like which projects people are working on, which teams they're on, which clients, and then we'll just all have a better view. So, okay. So I'm going to talk now about the single parent mother work ethic. So this author, this is told from the author's point of view, so it's not me, but I will read how he tells the story. I grew up in a small regional beach town in northern New South Wales, Australia, called Byron Bay. It has a population of 9,000 people. My oldest sister and I were raised by a single mother. I watched my mother hold down three jobs and work tirelessly to give us a great life. She would wake up before the sun and go to work before we left for school, and she would often get home after we did. She would then head straight to the kitchen to cook us a healthy dinner. As exhausted as she was, she did all this with a smile and affection and warmth only a loving mother can provide. There were times that were rough and we had no money, yet she always found a way to pull through. When I was 8 years old, I started waking up early so I could help her set up the cafe where she worked before I went to school. I would sweep the floor, take out the tables and chairs, and set them up. When I was finished, she would give me a hot chocolate and some breakfast as my reward. Afterwards, kissing me on the cheek, she'd tell me she loved me and send me off to school. Why am I telling you all this? Far Out, isn't this supposed to be a book about marketing? Yes, but this is an important point. Watching my mother work so hard to provide a great upbringing for my sister and me taught me the most valuable lesson I've ever learned. And it is this: nothing in life comes without hard work. Nothing is given to you. You don't get what you, quote, deserve. You get what you push, shove, scratch, and work your ass off for. My mother taught me firsthand that having a strong work ethic is the number one determining factor for success. After seeing this, I wanted to pull my own weight to help her. So, still only 8 years old, I got my first weekend job making peanut butter at the local health food store for $2.50 an hour. I would give all my money I made to her. However, I soon realized that even if I worked 8 hours a day, I would never be able to make a contribution that made my mom's life easier. So I got to thinking, how can I make more money to help out my mom? I found an old harmonica and decided to busk at the Sunday markets. So that's playing music on the streets. I had no idea what I was doing or even how to play the harmonica. Yet, this did not stop me. I threw my baseball cap on the ground, pulled out my harmonica, and started playing. I never forget, I made $80 in 5 hours. It would have taken me 32 hours making peanut butter at the health food store to earn that much. I ran home eagerly to show my mom, but when I tried to give it to her, she insisted I keep it for myself. I refused, and she burst into tears, gave me a big hug, and squeezed me tight. I knew from her tears this money would make an impact and actually help her out. I didn't mind whether it would go towards electricity bills or weekly groceries. I just wanted to help. I worked every Sunday market from that point on, switching up my busking acts from harmonica to juggling. Little did I know at the time what a valuable lesson I was learning, and that this ethic, single parent work ethic would serve me for the rest of my life. At 16, I got my first job in sales. I'll never forget it. The job ad in the local paper said, earn up to 1,800 per week. No experience required. I was sold. It was a group interview of 30, and I got the job along with two other candidates. We joined a team of 13 others, all crammed into an office. We were tasked with making 100 cold calls an hour, calling so fast we could hardly put the phone back on the hook. Feverishly, we worked our way through call sheets of businesses. We were calling businesses to buy back their empty ink cartridges and then selling them back refilled. I was making 600 cold calls a day, being abused, hung up on, and yelled at. People were screaming at me. It was a cold, hard slap in the face. Here I was at the front lines of capitalism and I was getting bruised and bloody. Worst of all, I was failing miserably. After 2 weeks, my production was well below the other rookies. It seemed like I was runt of the litter. I had the review with the owner, who liked me and said even though I was performing poorly, he wanted to give me another 7 days to see if I could turn things around. After I stepped out of that meeting and went home for the day, I thought long and hard about what I was doing and why I wasn't being successful. And I said, fuck it. And it was as if it flicked a switch inside of me. Whether it was the owner seeing some promise and taking a chance on me, or being backed into a corner, knowing that it was all on the line. But I don't know, either way, something fundamentally changed that day. I started to look at sales as a game. I would run through walls to get to a yes from a prospect. Objections would bounce off of me like bullets to Batman. Overnight, I literally became the company's top producer. I couldn't be stopped. This success led me to seek out and study the greatest orators and communicators of all time. I started to examine human psychology and the art of persuasion. Applied what I was learning, refining my pitch, seeing what worked, what didn't. If I changed my tone and cadence here or there, how would that affect my success rate? I became unstoppable. I was 17 and I made $2,000 per week. And it was this early success that got me thinking about traveling the world and seek out more opportunities. After high school, while most of my friends were moving to Sydney or Melbourne for university, I decided it wasn't for me. I packed my bag, I moved to London, and I started my adventures. I started to work in sales, selling everything you can imagine over the phone, from TVs to mobile payment devices, even legal will writing. I worked at companies with sales floors jam-packed with 2,000 people, and other companies with smaller, more involved sales teams, from multi-billion-dollar corporations to startups and everything in between. I was the top salesperson at every company I ever worked at for every month I worked there. A fresh-faced kid from Byron Bay, not only holding his own in one of the world's financial epicenters, but beating the pants off everyone. How? Well, I would like to say that I was born with it, some innate natural talent. He's a natural salesman, people said. That's not the case. The answer is an unrivaled work ethic and a hunger to master my craft. Learn from watching my mum slave away, raise two children, and wear the responsibilities of two parents, all with a smile on her face. I coined this quality as the single parent mother work ethic. My personal motto was, I don't care how talented you are, how fortunate your upbringing was, or even if you had a better education or opportunities than me, you simply can't outwork me, ever. And it's that principle that continues to serve me today. When I started King Kong Marketing in 2014 from my bedroom with no money, no venture capital, no safety net, I was entering a market with incredibly established players who had deep pockets and a huge head start. But over the intervening years, I've made many of these competitors wave the white flag and surrender. I've sent a lot of these companies either out of business or I've forced their hand to sell, as they simply cannot keep up with the fire-breathing marketing machine that I have built. This principle still serves me today. I start my days at 4 a.m., hungry for success, always willing to put in work to make my dreams a reality. And it's something I suggest you instill and forge in yourself. Because all the strategies and tactics in this book, or anywhere else, they won't mean anything if you don't put in the work. Your work ethic is the only thing that you can control in life. And if you strengthen it, stretch it to its limit, and forge an unrivaled work ethic that burns inside of you, you will win. Having a single parent mother work ethic means being relentless. It means demanding more of yourself than anyone could ever demand of you, knowing that every time you get tired, you can still go do more. Put in the work every day. Do something you don't want to do first thing every morning. Challenge yourself to be uncomfortable and push past the mediocre, the laziness, the fear. Forge your work ethic and exercise it like a muscle. Strengthen it, build it. Be relentless in your approach towards success. No marketing hack, sales funnel, or software can make you successful if you're not going to do the work. Don't wait for someone to make it happen for you. It's on you. That's why I'm telling you all this. Not because I want you to know how hard I work, but because I want you to know what you have to do for yourself to be successful in whatever path you choose in life. I'm not here to sugarcoat life. I'm not here to coddle you or tell you what you want to hear. Nor am I here to paint a picture of a lavish laptop lifestyle by the beach, sipping pina coladas as you press refresh on your internet banking account. Is that attainable? Yes. Does it require a crapload more work than the Instagram famous would have you believe? Absolutely yes. But most people don't talk about it. They would rather show you their rented Lamborghinis on Instagram or how they did $1 million week or something like that. Sorry, not me, not this book. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. I'm here to cut the bullshit and kickstart the life and business you were meant to have so that you can reach your fullest potential as an entrepreneur and every other life aspect of life. Discipline, structure, rules, rituals, plannings. These are the frameworks for success. Yet these are not attractive things in today's world of instant gratification. The average person reaches for the latest hack or loophole to attaining success with the least amount of work possible. This is a fool's errand, and it will leave you broke. Wherever you are right now, however hard you're working, I want you to take it to another level that you didn't even know was possible. Get into that zone where you can shut out all the noise, negativity, fear, distraction, and lies, and achieve all that you want in whatever you do. I want you to light a fire inside of yourself, so big, so ablaze that no one can deny you. In business and in life, there are a multitude of factors outside of your control. How well funded your competitors are, when they started their business. All of these things are outside of your control. The thing that is within your control is how hard you work in anything you do. To work hard takes no special talent, luck, exceptional resources. You just simply have to be willing to put in the work and do it. There are no excuses. It's no one else's fault. It's all on you. You must be completely focused on taking full ownership and responsibility for every bit of success and every bit of failure that comes your way. Decide how to get the job done, and then do whatever it takes to make it happen. When you make a mistake, don't look for excuses. Don't blame other people. Own it. 100%. Now, here's the next section, and this section is called Kill, quote unquote, the little bitch inside. Strong words, I know, but let me explain. Anytime you've had an internal struggle over what you want to do versus what you know you should do, well, that's the little bitch inside of you that's you're wrestling with. It may be when your alarm goes off and the voice inside of your head says, "You've been working hard and had a late night. Just hit the snooze and take another 10 minutes. You need it. You deserve it. Close your eyes and just rest." That's the little bitch whispering in your ear. If your little bitch is strong, it probably gets you to hit that snooze button of death several times before you get out of bed. Or maybe your little bitch rears out its ugly head and tries to convince you to miss a workout, going on to justify and sell you on all the reasons why it's okay to skip a session. Like you're still sore from yesterday's session, or you've been consistent all week, just take a rest today. It's all good. Again, that's the little bitch. Or how about when you're at the office taking care of business? It might be when you're calling potential candidates to join your team, replying to emails, or writing a sales copy. Perhaps you're making sales calls. And then it comes out again and it says, "You've had a bunch of great calls. Don't you worry about following up. You can do it next week." So, this duality of human nature exists in all of us. I call this character the little bitch because it's always pulling at your heels, it's putting weight and resistance as you're trying to make a better life for yourself. It's looking out only for its best interests. And we all have one, living inside, whether it's incredibly vocal, dormant, or lingering. It's there. It's testing you, seeing how bad you want it. You need willpower, which is the control exerted to either do something or restrain impulses, and ability to control your own thoughts. You want to make your why so big that your how becomes easy. Your self-control is what will distinguish you from all the others. It's what will give you the ability to show up every day, whether it's at the gym, at school, building your business, making money, training in martial arts. It's doing what no one else is willing to do so you can achieve what they don't. You know what I'm talking about, and you probably can't believe I'm talking about it, but I am. You must let this little bitch know who's in control, know who's the master, starve it of oxygen, and never let it see the light of the day. So take an honest look at where you are now and where you want to be. Then ask yourself what you're willing to do to get there. What fire are you willing to walk through? How much pain are you willing to tolerate? And make a plan to get there, act on it, and do whatever it takes. So let me tell you about two different business owners. One, he wakes up at 8 a.m., has breakfast, and then he gets to work at 9:30 a.m., answers emails, manages some admin, and begins to work on important activities by 11 a.m. 1 hour goes by. It's now 12 p.m. Time for lunch. He goes on lunch and is back 1.5 hours later at 1:30 p.m. There are a few more emails he needs replying to, and after that's done, it's now 2:30. His focus turns back to the important activities, and it takes 15 minutes to get back into the zone. An hour goes by, and it's 3:45 when the phone rings. He gets stuck on a call with a client, vendor, or manager. By the time he finishes, it's 4:30. A few more emails have come through, along with a handful of messages on office chat. It's now 5:30 and time to go home and switch off for the day. So added up over this entire day, his actual productive time spent creating value for himself and his company was just 2 hours. Now, let's compare this to another entrepreneur. This entrepreneur, he wakes up at 4 a.m. He heads to the gym. He listens to an audiobook on his 30-minute commute. He levels up and he's feeding his brain with new information. He completes a 45-minute workout, then a sauna session to get in peak state of the mind, sharp for the day ahead. He showers and heads to the office, again, listening to an audiobook, gaining insights, arriving at the office at 7 a.m. He dives straight into deep work on the activities that really matter. No checking emails, no distractions, just laser focus on the task at hand. 9 a.m. comes around. 2 hours have flown by as he's been in a deep, focused, and uninterrupted state. He stops for 20 minutes to have a packed breakfast and grab a coffee. Now 9:20. He's back on his desk, jumping straight back into deep work on highly leveraged activities that will move the business forward. Another 2 hour goes by and it's 11:40 or 11:20. Now he checks his inbox, archiving and deleting emails that don't need a reply, actioning on others with a short, sharp response, or simply jumping on the phone for 2 minutes to sort out the issues. By the time it's 12 p.m., he's already done 4 hours of solid productive work. Already twice what the other entrepreneur completed in a whole day, and it's still only lunch. He has a healthy lunch and turn off the brain to recover and decompress. It's now 12:45, and he's back on his desk, refreshed and ready to go. There are a few pressing issues that take an hour and 15 minutes to resolve before he's able to get back to work that really matters. It's now 2 p.m. and he gets into 2 more hours of deep work. Writing sales letter, coding up some code, forming new strategic partnerships, whatever it might be. It's now 4 p.m. Time to head home and beat the traffic and see his kids. Again, audiobook on, constantly feeding his brain with new knowledge. Arriving home to play with the kids, bathe them, have dinner. It's now 6:30 p.m. and he picks up a book written by a proven master in his field on a subject he's looking to improve on in his business. Reading for an hour and a half, again training. It's now 8 p.m. before he puts on Netflix and just goofs around with his partner, and then he's in bed by 9:30 p.m. He had 6 hours of deep work, 2 hours and 45 minutes of training and sharpening the axe with the podcast. This adds up to 8 hours and 45 minutes of work. directed at becoming a master each day, more than 3 times the other entrepreneur. Look how much more training he's able to do and how much more work that really matters he's done. And it's simply by starting at 4 a.m., being focused. All this extra ground covered. And this does not even include the extra day he works on Sundays. As he keeps working, the years go on, the advantage he has over his competitors just gets wider and wider. 5 years down the track, and it really doesn't matter how much work the competitor puts in over a given quarter, or if they don't take holidays a given year, because they're 5 years behind. After 10 years, forget about it. It's over. They will never catch up. So, as entrepreneurs and as people in general, if you want to become truly great at something, there's a choice you have to make. You have to make the inherent sacrifices that come with it, including hanging out with friends, watching the game on the telly. It's just a matter of what's important to you. If you want to be a master at your craft, you have to make sacrifices. When you're serious about success, there is no off season. There's no one here to come to save you. It's just you, your goals, and a relentless single parent mother work ethic. If you follow the principles that I've told you about and you do the work, you will be successful beyond your wildest dreams. We will give you all the tools you need so that you'll never go hungry in life. But like anything worth attaining, it requires a lot of work and dedication. Are you hungry for it? Are you willing to put in the work? Well, I thought so. Let's get busy. This was from Sell Like Crazy by the author Sabri Subi. And so many of you came in and came out, so you might have missed some segments of this, but it is recorded. And all of this is to say that one of the biggest things that we can help you with is to instill this attitude of a single mother work ethic. We, as in Moses, myself, Kidus, and your colleagues, helping each other. You have an important role to play for yourselves as well, because you can push each other and you can inspire each other to put in the work, especially when it gets hard and when it's painful. But the truth is that you have been dealt a difficult hand. You have power outages, you have family obligations, you have sometimes there's violent protests, there is civil war. It's not easy, but you have to, despite all of this, you have to win. You have to beat kids sitting in Europe, sitting in India, sitting in South America. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can only focus on what you can control, which is how much work you put in. And I can tell you this, the Americans, they work their asses off. They work extremely hard. If you speak to a software engineer at any top firm in the US, they're gonna look there, they do 70 hours a week by default. Some of the top engineers, they do 100 hours a week. They sleep next to the keyboard, like almost literally. And this is the world that you're in and you have to compete with. So we're trying to slowly build this muscle. It is a muscle. It's tough when you start to get into it, but over time it gets easier, and you're not gonna love it all the time, but you will only have made it this far if because you have some kind of passion of it. We have found something that you really enjoy, and if not, maybe adjust a little bit. Try to explore. Is there something that's similar that you do really enjoy for the most part? Okay. And the last thing I want to just say is that these projects that I have been able to bring in by putting my reputation on the line, I've convinced many of these entrepreneurs in the US, in the UK, to try, to give you guys a chance to prove yourself. If it works, this will open up the door for many, many to follow. So you're really the frontier here, leading the way for your fellow countrymen to change the norms, change the perception of what you can do. This goes way beyond yourself. You're carrying a heavy burden in many ways because you're representing your countries, Kenya, Ethiopia, Rwanda as well, uh, in the West, and I'm sure you're aware, but they don't think of Africa as a place where you can find brilliant and driven, smart people, tech entrepreneurs and developers. That's why we're here. We're here to change that, and we're here to show the world that they're wrong, or that, well, there's a lot to discover, and there are a lot of opportunities by working with young developers eager like yourselves. So that's all I wanted to say. And so keep this in mind as you now go through struggles over the next few weeks, as we, push you to your limits. Uh, we are doing this because we believe that you have the raw potential and talent, and you need just a little bit of extra support. Because you have all the tools in the same way that this book provides you all the tools. Moses, Kiddos, and I, and the many masterclass work lecturers, they have the keys. That there's a path there. It's relatively straightforward. There's a very clear path for you to succeed in this industry, and it's all in front of you. It's just up to you now to put in those hours and make those sacrifices. Okay, so thank you for listening. Moses will also upload this afterwards, so you can listen to it and share it with those friends who weren't here for this entire period. And you can listen to it next time you need some inspiration, or when you're traveling somewhere. Just remind yourself of this. Okay. So you're free to go. It's Saturday. I'm gonna be doing, yeah, work until late. But if there's anything I can help with or any advice you want, you can always message me. I respond very quickly, and I'm there to support. Okay, Moses, any words you want to add?
Uh, I think not as much, but thank you so much, Simon, for that very good session. And for me, is to remind all of you students of how special you guys are, and you are on a remarkable journey to shape the future of technology, not only for yourselves, but for your country and this continent at large. And I know it is not easy, but every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, learn, and become the best version of yourself. So remember how exemplary and unique you are. Your skills, dedication, and passion sets you apart, and you've already come from far. The world is watching you rise. So never give up, no matter the obstacles. Stay focused, trust your abilities, and always keep pushing forward. You are destined for greatness, and you believe in your power to make lasting impact. So I think that's all I have, and mine is to wish you all the best. And yeah, we are really proud of all of you.
Yeah.
So let me stop recording.